After violating a goat, Jake Lang decided that children are next in this leaked conversation that ended up on Twitter. So we're going to take a look and talk about it. So it starts off in November and then leads to now. But he goes, "You coming to my next protest in Texas?" She goes, "I can if you want me to." And then he goes, "Yeah, what's your number?" She responds, "Can we talk on here instead, or are you only texting?" And then he goes, "I have too many DMs, text only, sweetie." So this is fast forward to now, and they're texting. He goes, "What did your mom say?" And then she goes, "How old are you, by the way? I'll ask tomorrow." "I just turned 30, honey. Why are you up so late, young lady?" So like he's very clearly knows that she's young, right? He wouldn't be calling her honey and young lady, etc. if he didn't think that she was quite young, right? Even regardless of all of this, it's already very, very weird, but it gets much worse. She goes, "Nice, and I don't know, I be a night owl. I might be too young for you, lol." And he goes, "How old are you, baby? Unless you're under 18, I don't care, haha." And right at 18, as a 30-year-old man, it's already very, very bizarre. And while it's not illegal, it's still super, super morally incorrect. And she goes, "I'm 15, lol," and sends a selfie. And immediately he follows it up with, "When do you turn 16? Right? Like just because it's legal doesn't make it okay, doesn't make it right or morally proper, any of that kind of stuff. Just because the law states that it's acceptable doesn't mean that it actually is, right? And what does a 30-year-old man have any business doing talking to somebody who's 18, never mind 16 or 15, right? And then she follows up with, "In 6 months. I won't get you in trouble if that's what you're worried about. I can keep a secret." And then he hearts the message. And instead of ending the conversation, again, when he finds out she's 15, turns 16 in 6 months, etc., he goes, "What state do you live in? I can't see you until you're 16. And then she responds with, "Arizona. I just moved here, so," and then follows it up with another selfie. I mean, it's disgusting that he's willing to essentially spawn camp at the legal limit of 16. And it's even worse that this is, it's a recurring thing. He likes to just violate people, right? Not only is he a racist, he also was very weird with the goat, and now he's exposed for being into children. He has since tweeted, "Text between Alex Rosen and myself this morning. Nice fake setup, but I won't even allow this person to attend my protest until they were 16. Nothing else was discussed going to a protest other than going to a protest. Obvious phishing scam that my team caught right away and deterred." I mean, you were asking all types of questions about her age and where she's from, etc., and talking about her mom, right? This was not some situation where like, "Oh, I was just making sure that she was old enough to come to my protest." You were being very weird and you were calling her pet names the whole time. So these text messages between Alex Rosen and Jake, Alex says, "Were those messages real? I'm just asking before anything." And then Jake responds, "Nick Fuentes went on a 10-minute vicious rant about me on his show yesterday. So the army has been attacking me with dozens of phishing hoaxes and scams. My lawyers are gathering everything now and preparing to strike back hard now." And Alex responds, "Bet. Well, were those texts, were you being for real or just messing around?" He responds, "My team who does DMs from out of the country suspected I was being phished," which is interesting as a true American man, right? That he has people managing his socials from out of country. What happened to America Made? Bring jobs to America. But before we get completely off topic, he says, "I confirmed it by asking their age and telling them the legal boundaries. Never spoke to them again after that." Alex goes, "Makes sense. And what do you mean by phished?" "They were talking about coming to my protests and then switched, trying to rope the conversation into something illegal, and we pulled the plug." That is not at all what it looked like, Mr. Jake Lang. "I told them I needed women for my burqa and bikini march that was planned for February in Florida, and they started a search. But this person was phishing us to set us up for something illegal, which I then pulled the plug on." Again, you did not pull the plug on this situation. You got caught out because you're a creep. Alex responds, "What made you refer to this girl as honey and baby?" Right? Like you're trying to bring someone on for your bikini and burqa march, whatever, and you're calling them baby and honey, and they have a high school in their bio. You're a weirdo. You're a freak. Never once was their pet name used after the Fisher identified their age. No talks we had other than them coming to the protest. Alex says, yep, agree. Can you send me the full chats from your end? I'd like to see what was said after her age from her end. That guy that fished specifically sets people up for clicks. And then Jake responds, the chat was cleared, convenient, but I know for a fact that the last message that was said was the one that said, I can't see you. The full text thread has been posted. And again, you can see at the bottom of this screenshot, it shows Arizona, Texas, a Bible quote, some flags, and then THS 30, which is a high school, right? Like this is just unbelievable. You got caught out. You're a freak, a weirdo, and unfortunately nothing is going to come of it, right? We've seen time and time again that nothing comes of these types of situations. People genuinely don't really care enough.